It's the end of the year, so we're looking back at 2021 and in particular the races that I ran this year. Now, the year started out without any races being scheduled, and it wasn't until June that there were any organized runs with other people, but I still managed to run over 30 organized runs this year. I started with a run I signed up for in 2020, but it was turned into a virtual run, the Fortress Run in Gorinchem. An area that I'd never been to before, but a beautiful area to run in. The first of 5 Fortress runs for the year and the first of many virtual runs. Epic organized a lot of run your own runs and invited me to run the brewery run in Delft. Although Delft is close to where I live, most of the runs get you to run in areas where you normally wouldn't go when you visit a city. So that is definitely something that I really like about these runs. I ran the Katendrecht run in Rotterdam that had a nice snack at the end, and so did the Roonse Griende run. That went through a beautiful area and I never even knew that existed. The time of the year was perfect, the beginning of the spring, and it made everything just look perfect. Then I started running the brewery runs, and all of these started and ended at a brewery where at the finish you could pick up your medal and a beer package. I ran in The Hague through a crowded city center in Gouda where the weather wasn't too great, but yeah, the run was still a lot of fun. Rotterdam, I ran the brewery run on the same day as running the wine run, which was really close together, but it had a different course and it gave me a different medal and some wine at the finish. While trying to do as many brewery runs as I could, I went to Den Bosch, where I got a little more than just beer when I stopped for a Bossel Bol during the run. That was really good. I went to Staverde for a nice run in the forest, since the brewery run was in the middle of nowhere. Seeing Staverde is the smallest city in the Netherlands. I ran in Utrecht through the rain to get to the finish soaking wet and pick up some really great beers at the finish. Amersfoort was next, a great city to run through, and I got some beers that were brewed with a recipe that was hundreds of years old. Amsterdam was a nice run through the city center with the brewery close to the red light district. Eindhoven was a big circle around the enormous PSV soccer stadium, but with the weather finally picking up, it was a great run. Tilburg had me backtracking a couple of times because it was a little hard to stick to the map, but a great run through the center of town. But then the runs changed and group runs were allowed. So the second brewery run in Delft was together with the group. A lot of fun with some beer tasting on the way and some fun information about the sites. It was fun to finally run with other people again. And yeah, we were welcomed with some more beer at the finish. The virtual series by Run Disney, I wasn't actually planning to do this year, but then they made the theme The Lion King and came out with these amazing medals. So yeah, I just had to sign up and I ran a 5K each month for June, July and August. I did the Wateringse Veld run, which again was in a beautiful area to run in that I never even knew about. You could start when you wanted, but it was organized for that one day, so there were other people running. Now they had a really nice outdoor fitness trail that we passed during the run, and by taking a selfie on the trail, I ended up winning a photo contest that the run organized as well. In Vlaardingen, they set out the Herring and Beer walking tour, but they gave everybody the course and said you could just walk it whenever you wanted to. So it's not really an organized event, but I did decide to run the 10K course, and surprisingly, it actually did show me a spot on the course that I'd never been before. The Fortress Run in Brielle was a small organized event again, and I got to run with some other people. Still not what the Fortress Runs are normally like, but a nice change of pace of all the brewery runs that I've been running by myself. The Rotterdam Run was a half marathon with a lot more runners again. It led us along the river de Rotte into the center of Rotterdam, where we finished at the spot where Rotterdam once had its origin. This was also the first race where baby Zane came to support me at the finish line. Then it was time for some more Fortress runs. Number 3 was in Hellevoetsluis, which I also ran in 2020. A great area to run in, and for some reason the Fortress runs seemed to have very hot weather this year. Willemstad was next, which had a large part of the course on the outskirts, but seeing that it's a very beautiful green area, I didn't mind so much. I did a running tour of Cologne, Germany when I visited for the weekend, but that wasn't an organized run. That was just me going out for a fun run, trying to see a large part of the city at a fast pace. The 5th and last Fortress run in Bergen-op-Zoom was looking like a real event again, although still smaller than normal. We had a nice start area, full corrals, people cheering us on from the sidelines. A great run that made it feel like run events were finally coming back. With this being the 5th race, it also earned me the special Challenge Hero medal to complete the set of 6 medals. In Vlaardingen, the Urban Herring Run was held for the second time. A great run through all kinds of fun locations. I just loved running this race. The rain was pouring down, we were soaking wet, but that didn't stop us from having a great time. A lot of entertainment on the course, some obstacles, and a great looking medal at the finish. You just gotta love runs like these. I ran the half marathon of Barnard. It was the first time that it was held, and most of the run went through the outskirts of the city, so I didn't really get to see much of Barnard, but it was a beautiful run and I got to see some familiar faces that day. Then came the race that I've been training for, the half marathon of Amsterdam. This race I ran to try and get into the Guinness Book of World Records with the record of the fastest half marathon dressed as a supervillain. I was dressed as Venom, which got me a lot of great support from the crowd, so that was a lot of fun. I ended up beating the record by 8 minutes, so yeah, I was very pleased with that. A week after my record attempt, I ran the Rotterdam Marathon. Now, after going all out in Amsterdam, my legs were not rested enough yet, and I had a really hard time during the marathon. It was a tough race for me, but I finished in 4 hours, 12 minutes, and 54 seconds. So, all things considered, I was still pretty pleased with that. I also ran my virtual New York City Marathon at the same time. I ran to raise money for Team for Kids, and by doing so, I got myself a guaranteed placement for the New York Marathon in 2022. After some rest from the marathon, I ran the Maastunnel Run. It had me going back to Rotterdam to see some more sights and to run with a group. I wasn't as ready as I thought for that one, seeing that my knee gave me some trouble afterwards, but still, all in all, it was a fun run. That's when we got some more restrictions in the Netherlands and races started getting cancelled again. The Seven Hills Run, another group brewery run, the Center Run in Rotterdam. The only race that was still happening was the Center Run in Vlaardingen, and I wasn't able to run it because of my knee. It was giving me too much trouble, even a month after my last run. Now, all in all, everything considered, I managed to run quite a number of races this year. Now I was looking forward to next year, getting stronger, getting faster, and hopefully running some great races. I hope you had a great race year yourself, and if you have a favorite race, let me know down in the comments. Until next time, get out there and run.